All right. Well, speaking of Star Wars, we got some Star Wars news to talk about today. So I don't know if you guys follow this stuff, but yesterday Disney confirmed that they're bringing back Ewan McGregor to play Obi-Wan Kenobi in a Disney Plus series, in addition to The Mandalorian that we're also getting on Disney Plus, along with a Cassian Andor spy series from Rogue One. So we got a lot of Star Wars stuff coming down the pipeline. What do you guys think of this news about the TV shows?
That will make all the memers happy. I mean, he's Obi-Wan as Ewan McGregor is pretty much a meme on Reddit at this point.
It could definitely go so many routes, man. Like I think they have it down packed. I mean, they did great as far as with like they do with like the Marvel movies. They have so much potential here to fill in like little gaps and stuff, because like think about so the Obi-Wan movie takes place like 8 years or something like that after episode 3, so you can have a lot of things where you can see Darth Maul again, because we all know like in the Clone Wars series and Netflix and stuff, Darth Maul made an appearance and stuff, so he, for all we know, could be there, and having Trey Parker and back as Darth Maul, that'd be freaking awesome. They could fill in so many gaps of questions and all kinds of stuff. So
is this taking place after the movies?
Yeah,
the shitty movies that he made.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it will take place between episodes 3 and 4, basically.
Yeah, and what I'm looking forward to is in Last Jedi. I know a lot of people don't like it. I'm a giant fan because of one thing. You see the gray Jedi symbol suddenly appear. I'm taking a guess Luke got those books from Obi-Wan, which means that you might actually see, especially considering his character in episode 4, some information about the Grey Jedi show up. Grey Jedis are sorry for people who don't know, Grey Jedis are the neutral Jedis who are halfway between the light and the dark. They show up in Clone Wars and a couple of other series.
Let me ask you guys this, because we all played Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. There's rumors that David Benioff and Dan Weiss, the guys who executive produced Game of Thrones, were the head writers for it. They're going to be doing a Star Wars trilogy movie series based off of the Old Republic. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, bring it on.
Oh, yes. Revan.
Bring it on.
Entire Revan series. Yeah. That's one of my main issues with Star Wars, is so much of it is Sith bad, Jedi good, but if you saw the Old Republic, it was a little bit more mixed than that. There were some Jedi who went far off the deep end in the entire keep everything non-emotional, and you had some Sith who used righteous anger in order to do good things. And I would love to see a little bit more of a balance in the Star Wars universe.
I mean, look at Ahsoka and stuff. Look at Ahsoka. Ahsoka became essentially gray and stuff. I mean, even what's his name?
Anakin?
The rumor here is that the Game of Thrones guys are going to go back to the initial formation of the Jedi and the Sith. So we're going to get to see that happen in these movies and kind of see the rise of the Jedi from their earliest days. So
we might also see a little bit more of the actual Sith race, rather than just the Sith as a concept. That would be interesting.
Yeah, one of the cool things about the MMORPG was that you had an expansive Force-using race like with the Sith and with the Jedi, so they were everywhere. Whereas in the original trilogy time frame, it was pretty much just Darth Vader and Luke and Palpatine were the only Force users left, pretty much.
Oh yeah, and it definitely is something that I'm looking forward to seeing more of. Is the stories that aren't just you have the Skywalker family, you have and everybody else who uses Force is some side character who might show up for 10 minutes or have a cool purple lightsaber. I mean.
Sekis, were you a fan of the Game of Thrones show?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I don't know if the problem with the Force as a notion is it's a very monolithic concept. I'm not entirely sure that could be handled with as much delicacy as Game of Thrones was. I mean, the whole midichlorian thing, I wanted a just shoot at whoever came up with that. And
George Lucas.
him? Oh, that guy. Yeah, that's that
Yeah.
fucking guy. Yeah.
Well, the
I got your
midichlorians,
midichlorians right here. I got it right here.
if I remember correctly, they kind of corrected that a little bit in the Clone Wars animated series, which is still canon. If I remember correctly, they said that was just the amount of force energy that was actually going through someone rather than some DNA marker or something like that. It was just a way to judge how much energy was actually going through someone at a given time.
So the guy who's running, the guy who directed Iron Man 1 and 2, what's his name?
Favreau.
Favreau. He's running this, and apparently he really is a Star Wars fan.
No, he's running the Mandalorian.
Oh, the Mandalorian movie. Okay, that's right. Yeah,
It's a TV show on Disney Plus.
Right. Okay.
And the trailer just dropped yesterday for it, which looks pretty darn good.
Yeah. I'm hoping they actually keep the mythology around Mandalorians, which is the honor above all, and very much like a chivalry code, except a little bit more mercantile than that.
Did any of you guys play Bounty Hunter and SWTOR?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, really? Freaking tracer missile, bro. Come on.
Yeah. I think you were the DPS version. I was the one who
version.
was, yeah.
Dude, I'm excited for the Mandalorian for the simple fact that, man, they have so many. They can go with so many directions. So they can go with like, hey, we're like the bounty hunter that we just get people in, or they can go, with actually fighting, Jedis and stuff. I mean, you have so much, especially Mandalorians. They have so much stuff against Jedis. I mean, you got the Cortosis. You have the Fareeks, like the light batons and stuff. The Cortosis actually can nullify. Actually, I read about it. You can actually nullify a lightsaber and actually discharge it.
Are those lightsabers on your wall back there behind you?
Hell yeah, they are. Fully functional. Hold on, I'll show you. Check this shit out. Hold on.
Is this? Oh, his mic is okay. His headset's oh shit! Holy shit! What happened?
Leave it to Leo to have a wall full of
It didn't destroy the wall.
Hey, my wife said I can do it. Okay, leave me the fuck alone.
So people in chat brought up a good point. Mandalorian, is he actually a Mandalorian? Are we looking at another cloned Jango Fett? Are we actually looking at some sort of offcast or like an orphaned Mandalorian, someone who's actually the Mandalorian race?
Well, I think it probably is a Mandalorian. But like I said, we're going to have to wait to see the show. But I know that in Star Wars The Old Republic, the video game, all the bounty hunters were Mandalorian, I think. It was more of a title.
They had to be proven. They had to be vetted into becoming a man, because you had to become Mandalore. They essentially like the great Chapter 1, spoiler alert, Chapter 1 of Star Wars. If you haven't played it, the Great Hunt. Afterwards, then you can become essentially the Mandalore and essentially like the main guy. So
but there is actually a race Mandalorians. I believe in that one, other races could become bounty hunters and get kind of adopted into Mandalorian culture.
Correct.
But there's actually a race of Mandalorians, which I believe Jango and Boba might have been some of the last ones. Jango, of course. Boba was,
I think they were Beskars. I think they were called like Beskars. That's where you get the Beskar sword or the blade. That's where the Mandalorian ore came from. Because I mean, they've been forging that material since if you're going back in Star Wars times, 7,000 BBY or something like that. So it's actually a lot to it for sure.
So have you guys seen the new Mandalorian trailer?
Yes,
I have. Yeah.
Yes.
What'd you think?
Go for it.
He definitely has some of the mannerisms down that I would expect from Boba Fett type, but it also feels a little bit. How do I put this? It feels definitely like they're going for the I'm thinking kind of what's the name of the movie? The
John
second one's the Golden Circle.
Oh,
It's
Kingsman. Kingsman. Yeah, Kingsman type of.
Kingsman, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, where he uses the gadgets and it is a smooth badass, I guess.
see, I thought John Wick when I saw this. He's like the only one. I don't know.
See, I thought it was more like a Clint Eastwood Man with No Name type thing.
Well, it looks like a spaghetti western if you actually.
I thought it was a Jonah Hex. I saw Jonah Hex through it. You know what I mean? So.
You think everything is Jonah Hex, though?
So what? Okay.
But yeah, I was very impressed by this trailer. I thought that it looks appropriate for the time period. It's really exciting to get to see these new characters and like a new aspect of the Star Wars universe. And some of it does feel like the SWTOR video game.
If you go back, that looked like a Jedi who opened that door with the droid next to him.
Well, that was the Mandalorian, wasn't it?
I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah, that was him walking in.
I'm right there. Okay, that was
for a show, dude. I was totally impressed by the cinematography.
Yeah.
I mean, they must have really pulled out the stops when it came to this show. I mean, they dropped a Boba Fett film for the series, So I was very, very impressed with the cinematography. I mean, this is like a series trailer. Show me a series trailer that looks like a movie like that. You don't see it, man. You don't.
Yeah, and I love the fact that the helmet is visored, so you can't actually tell his face just in the trailer. I have a feeling that I would love them to go the first 2 episodes without showing his face a single time. It could be a female for all we know.
It's a guy.
It's a guy. Okay.
Yeah. It's Diego Luna, he was actually in one of the Kingsman films.
He was the American. He was the cowboy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The thing is that blaster shot gave me a definite Han Solo feel to it. That lean back and pull it forward. That definitely felt very Han Solo.
Pedro
I'm not sure if that was.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that was on purpose. He was creating like a little bit of a mix, but he definitely looked a bit like Han Solo when he did that.
Well, he was a cowboy and Kingsman, so I mean, he did the whole revolver thing.
He was also I don't know if you guys ever saw the Narcos on Netflix.
Yes.
No, I didn't have a chance to watch that one.
Yep. He was in The Great Wall. Leo, you had to have seen that one.
Yeah,
he was in Game of Thrones. He was the sand spear guy.
Yeah, he was the guy who got killed by the.
I think, aside from like the individual, I think that, so Mandalorian, they flat out said, like, if you go on IMDb, they actually even say it's 5 years after Return of the Jedi. I mean, what I think that Disney should do a little bit differently, unlike what they did with the Avengers, because with the Avengers, they were telling stories through the movies. Whereas here, I think they're going to be filling in all of our questions with the shows, and then giving us the meat and potatoes with the movies, which I think is a great thing because like I said, 5 years after Return of the Jedi, what happened to Palpatine? What could be going on here? How is it going to tie in with Obi-Wan? Or not Obi-Wan, because actually I guess that would be pre Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan takes place after the third film.
Yeah.
But there's so many directions that they can go as far as filling in questions. Who knows? Maybe they can go with where is who Snoke becomes. Because the Empire already fell, but it's also pre-first order, so they can go so many directions with that as far as how First Order started. Who the hell is Snoke? Why does his face, look like that?
All the questions the movie should have.
I'm actually, speaking of Palpatine, I'm actually pasting something here that if you could bring it up, Matt.
Oh, the new poster.
Yeah, Dark Side Rey. Ooh.
Oh yeah, and you get to see Palpatine in the background grinning, and that's the entire reason I brought that one up.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought when I first saw this, I thought this was fan art. I didn't think this was the official poster because Palpatine almost looks animated. He looks like a 3D animated character.
Oh yeah, Especially since, if I remember correctly, Plagueis had the ability to reincarnate. And if you go into some of the, I think it's called Legacy now, like the expanded universe books, Palpatine, one of his major things was that he could constantly reincarnate.
It sounds like the type of overpowered power that Palpatine could have. Sekis, what do you think of this poster?
I think it's awesome, and Palpatine always is playing behind the scenes anyway. So this looks like that's exactly what he's doing still. It'll be interesting to see where this goes. I mean, I don't know. I haven't liked the recent movies lately. They don't have that feel, the Return of the Jedi feel, the Empire Strikes Back feel. I don't know if that can ever be regained, but I'll be patient. It's fine.
All I'm saying is that if Emperor Palpatine tells Rey, "I am your father," I'm gonna lose my shit.
I'm your baby daddy.
Yeah, I'm your baby daddy.
So,
well, in addition to all the Star Wars news coming out, we've got a new Star Wars game on the horizon. Now, for those of you who don't know, EA had the worldwide exclusive rights to do Star Wars games since about 2014.
And they pissed on it.
Yeah, they basically only made 2 games, maybe like if you count 3 if you count the mobile game that they did. But they've got a new one coming out from Respawn Entertainment, and it's called Fallen Order. And this article says it's very similar to Sekiro. Did you guys any of you guys play Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice?
Hell yes.
Yeah.
I never even heard of that game.
Yes. Strictly off of counters, man. So like the game, rarely relies, okay, for instance, like in Star Wars, like the Old Republic, it was very much, I hit you, you hit me. I hit you, you hit me. Whereas this game is very much towards countering, use of strategy, which is kind of what we knew, especially going back to DC Universe.
Right.
DC Universe is all about countering, knowing your blocks and everything like that. And I love that. That to me, that brings how skillful are you really with a lightsaber? Because like somebody could pick up a game on Sekiro and they can say, hey, we're going ahead and doing blade battles and stuff, but another person can be much better with the blade on the game.
Yeah.
And I love the feel that they did to that.
So Sekiro is in the Souls-like genre, Dark Souls, in the sense that it's kind of it's a very difficult game, and it takes a lot of skill to progress in it, from what I understand. Lugs, did you ever play Sekiro?
no, I've not got a chance to play Sekiro yet. That is actually one on my list. I have been trying to go through games, and I think that's like 4th or 5th on my list.
Yeah, no, that needs to be number 1. Bump it up, dog.
Yeah. Heard a lot of good things about Sekiro.
But one of the things about the Fallen Order one is the fighting actually makes sense depending on the lightsaber style that he has. I'm hoping he's like, they actually bring up the fact that he's 6th or 7th form, because the fighting looks very close to what I would call a 6th or 7th form fighter.
Let me get through this article, and we'll talk about all the Star Wars details. So this is from GameSpot. It says, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is very similar to Sekiro, confirms Respawn, but the game is inspired by older From Software games. This is by Jordan Ramey. Though Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was well into development before the release of Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, Respawn has confirmed its upcoming game is very similar to From Software's title. Fallen Order lead combat designer Jensen de Haras takes comfort in that comparison. I thought it was pretty badass. I had a little and a little comforting to know that you could make this type of game without a stamina bar, he said in an interview with Edge Magazine. They let you attack, they let you roll, they do all this for free, and then the AI will tell you if you're doing the correct thing. It just confirmed to us that you don't have to limit everything the player does. Let them have a little more agency and let the AI give them a slap on the wrist or a punch in the face. It was a positive thing for us to know that the game was very similar to ours, very similar. The comparison to From Software's most recent game makes sense, as Respawn turned to the studio's older games as inspiration for Fallen Order. I've been a huge From Software fan since King's Field, Fallen Order games director Stig Asmussen said. I mean, King's Field 2 is one of my favorite games ever, but it's more about you liking a game and trying to make that game yourself. It's more, what can we learn about what's fun about it? In our time with the E3 Fallen Order demo, we saw numerous mechanics and features inspired by From Software games, including checkpoint idols to upgrade your abilities, the loss of all in-game currency upon death, and challenging but fair combat. However, when it came to traversal mechanics, Fallen Order took most of its inspiration from Metroid Prime, with force powers and droid upgrades acting as the lock and key mechanisms for exploration. Metroid absolutely served as an inspiration for us, Fallen Order lead level designer Jeff Maggers told Game Informer. What the Metroid-style level design does for us is somewhat of the way to give the player guided exploration, a ton of freedom within the world, but at the same time we can deliver really handcrafted moments and really focus on the moment to moment. So guys, this is taking cues from games like Metroid and Sekiro and other From Software games. Have you guys played any of these games that supposedly inspired this game? And what do you think about it?
I just looked at From Software, and I can definitely see. I did not realize they were the developers of Armored Core. I'm not sure if any of you guys have been in Armored Core.
Oh yeah, of course.
No.
I could definitely see some of the sword fighting very similar to the energy blades, if I remember correctly, from Armored Core series. And it is definitely a more methodical version of sword fighting than you normally see from a lightsaber. Though it does remind me a little bit of some of the Jedi Knight 2 lightsaber fighting.
Nice. I love Jedi Knight too.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Yeah.
For me, it was more. So I love the whole idea of companionship. So like the whole, like for instance, probably one of the best companionship games I've ever played was hands down God of War. The synergy between Kratos and his son Loki and stuff like that. It was just absolutely fantastic. So I hope that they definitely incorporate, go outside the box, kind of force powers into like a shock with like the droid and stuff like that type of thing. I think that could really open up a lot of things. But like what definitely really has my attention the most is that they're not really releasing the skill trees. They're not really showing what you can do. So, just like Lux was saying, different forms, who knows? You can imagine being able to adapt your own form. You can do Ataru like Yoda, going Ceresu like Obi-Wan. You can do, you know what I mean? There's so many different forms that you can really, really work on, and there's so many things you can build upon with that, which I think would definitely help like the player experience of playing this game. So I'm really excited to see what happens when they actually release the skill tree. So here's start crossing your fingers.
Sekis, are you actually going to get Fallen Order when it comes out, do you think?
If you guys get it, I'll get it, and if there's a healer, I'll get it. Because I will not join a game if you guys are getting it.
I think it's a single player game.
Oh, so then fuck it.
You don't want to play by yourself?
No, I did that in my 20s. I'm good.
Leo, this game kind of reminds me of is the Force Unleashed. You remember that game?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Where
I still have all that. I still have those downloaded for sure. But I was never really a fan. Okay, don't get me wrong. Star Killer dragging down a freaking an Imperial destroyer from the sky was epic. There's no doubt about it. But to me, like when you compare that to the movies and to compare to like now, I mean, Yoda was having problems lifting little boulders. Okay, you know what I mean? So it's like I kind of like how they drew back the exaggeration of force powers.
So they're having a lightsaber battle behind Cold over here.
He's about to get decapitated. He doesn't be careful.
I'm not big a Star Wars fan. Like I think Sekis does it, but I have my lightsaber back there. So
these ones are from the new Star Wars land at Disney.
Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, we went to Galaxy's Edge. So they did the entire build your own lightsaber. As for the game, one of the things that I noticed in the trailer, not the trailer, but the gameplay demo, was the slow down time mechanic. And the only game I could think about when I saw that, it was very, very close to Max Payne's slowdown mechanic. And that is honestly one of the best implementations of the mechanic that I've seen.
Didn't Horizon Zero Dawn have that slow mechanic? I thought it did. What's her name with the female bow hunter? I love that game.
Oh, on the PS4.
Yeah,
Dude, I've been wanting to play that game, but like just like watching the movie Inception, I never got to it.
you know, it was a
Never
single
seen
player.
Inception.
Dude, I tried like 5 times, never happened.
I liked that game. It was a single player. It was really good, and it had I think it had some time slowing. That was a fun game.
I think that'll work well too, because like I mean they've exhibited like what's really time slow. So time slow is all relative, because you know for the person shooting, he could be just be moving faster, and we know that Jedi's exhibited force speed. I mean Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon did it in episode 1. You know, when they were running from the droids right in the beginning of the movie. You know, so that could definitely it could work for sure.
Yeah, it won't work in like a multiplayer game. Like they're trying to do that in Vault 76. Oh my god, that's such a fart.
That game in and of itself is just a disaster. Mario, did you play Vault 76 at all?
For all of 10 minutes, perhaps.
I mean, I'm embarrassed to say I played it for about 2 months, trying really hard not to want to throw it across the room. But yeah, I tried.
So I got to ask you, Sekis, what was the game like? Because I'd never bothered to play it.
It was like falling down a banister of razors into a pool of alcohol.
Oh, so do you want to play a game?
No. It was absolutely terrible. It was grindy. It was slow. You would run into somebody, and you know they would just tap you because you had PvP mode turned off. So they would just tap you and like hit you, do 2 damage, and there was no missions. You just run around, and I'm just gonna interact with pixels, and like there was just nothing to do. It was absolutely terrible. It looked like a half-developed game, and the patches didn't help. And you would set up your house. You would set up your whole thing with all your with your armor station and your chemistry station and all this. You'd set it up, and then it would up and disappear, and then it would conflict with the water, and you couldn't get onto the platform. Forget it. I'm never going back to Vault 76 or any other vault for that matter. I'm done with it.
You're done with Fallout just in general?
Yeah, I'm not. And besides, the game depresses me. I mean, it's just I don't know. No, I'm good. I'm done.
Lugs, did you ever play Fallout 76?
No, I played Fallout 4 was the last one I played. Sorry.
Fallout 4 was good.
Yeah, Fallout 4 was decent. 76, I kept considering, but I was like, okay, I'll give it like 2 or 3 weeks before I do it. And the reviews were just god awful.
You guys are good, man. I gave it 10 minutes.
No.
I didn't give it any minutes. I looked at all.
I'm the only idiot that actually gave it 2 months. So
I looked at all the YouTube reviews. I was like, this doesn't look like a fun game.
Wow. Yeah,
that's for sure.
It's terrible.
Hey, thanks for checking out this video. I hope you got a lot out of it. And remember, if you want to support the channel, please check us out on the socials. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Matthew Kadish. You can also find our discussion group over on Facebook at eggfbgroup.com. That's eggfbgroup.com. Takes you right to our Facebook discussion group. And if you'd like to help support the channel, check out my books over on Amazon.com. You can find them by going to kadishbooks.com. That's KADISH books.com. And as always, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you're notified every time we upload a new video for more movie, TV, and entertainment news and analysis. This is Matthew Kadish. I'll catch you guys later.